Do we have a $250,000 card in the Freedom 250 UFC boxes? That is what we're going to talk about today, because this changes some things, right? This changes some of my strategies. We did not know this was going to be in here. And first off, let's talk about this before we get too far. Is this even in here? We got a somewhat cryptic, off the cuff blurb from Dana White. I'll go ahead and put up that short that I made of that video right now.
We did a White House set of cards that night. I wore a Freedom 250, the president wore a Freedom 250, and the cards are going to come out. President Trump's Freedom 250 card with the patch that he wore auto is going to be a 1 of 1. So what I might do is when the set gets released, I might just put a bounty on it.
Got it.
That's the card I'm going after next. It's going to come out in this set, and it's going to be the card that everybody's hunting for. It's a 1 of 1 autographed by him with his 250 patch, and I'm probably going to put a bounty on it.
So it does seem, right, like it is going to be in the Freedom 250 boxes, but some people have said, rightly so, hey, it's not in the checklist, it's not in the odds, like Topps hasn't announced anything about this, and it's not the first time that Topps has done this. They didn't put the debut patch cards, the 1-on-1 debut patch cards, in the checklist for 2027 Chrome. They also didn't put them in the odds for 2027 Chrome. So that's not necessarily something that I'm super surprised about. They've been in such a rush this year that they seem to have missed kind of quite a few details when it comes to things like that, checklist, odds, putting things up in a timely manner. So I'm not necessarily super leery when it comes to that, but they do have the 250 patches that look almost exactly the same in other sports that people were wearing, right? And like there was maybe potential about Topps releasing like a 250 box or something. So that has me like kind of like, man, is this really gonna be in this? Because if it is, that does change some things. Okay, so first off, let's just put all the cards on the table in that it is not 100% confirmed that this Trump card, 101 card that Dana has a $250,000 bounty on, it hasn't really been confirmed by anyone, by Topps, by Fanatics. Now, Dana did mention that, but that is like one sentence. How deep is he in the actual production of the cards and familiarity with the products? Probably not super deep, right? He's such a busy guy worrying about all the other stuff. So I'm like, man, is this even 100% in this product? So we got that out there, right? Be leery if you're going to do all this. I really want, before this releases, I really want a blurb somewhere that says 100% that card is in this product. And then once we get that, or if we get that, let's talk about this next scenario, right? Okay, so now we've prefaced with, we honestly don't even know 100%. Wasn't in any of the checklists. Topps hasn't released any information about that. But let's go ahead and say that they do. Now let's have this conversation. How does that change the original plans for these Freedom 250 boxes, right? So we know that the Freedom 250 boxes are going to be a limited run. It's one very similar to like Midnight and Royalty, right? It's one box, one pack in the box, and then you get a few cards in there. They're all numbered. They aren't event specific to the actual UFC Freedom 250 event, or at least all of the relics that we saw from the leaks that Topps gave us were not event specific. They were just fighter worn. That definitely could change. Maybe they will put some canvas in there. That would be sick. They did delay this product a little bit, which maybe means that they were trying to, put that together quickly before release. So I at least am hoping and crossing my fingers. If we do get some 250 event specific stuff in this product, that would be a huge win. And that honestly would be really fun, and I would love it. That would immediately give the product a huge boost, right? Okay, so we know that that's kind of the gist of the product. Let's go ahead and say that we get this $250,000 potential card that Dana White has put a bounty on. I'm going to go ahead and flash this on the screen, right? This is him in I really wish he would have commented on the video I made. That would have been sick. But he commented on somebody's video and said $250,000 to whoever pulls it, right? So there is immediately, we know, a lotto ticket. If this Trump card is in this product, we immediately have a lotto ticket worth $250,000, which would be, what, $54,000 more expensive than any UFC card that has ever sold. It would immediately absolutely blow by the Conor McGregor that just sold for 100 and what was it, 96, 198, something like that, $1,000. So how does this change things, man? This is an extremely rare situation where we now know before the product has released that one of these boxes potentially, right? Again, we're under the assumption that this Trump card is in this product at this point in the conversation. We still don't know that to be certain. We know that in this hypothetical that a $250,000 card is in one of these, and again, we're going to say 8,000 boxes based on the math with the odds. I think it was really closer to like low 7, mid 7, but I'm going to go ahead and say 8,000 just to be safe. For easy math, to be safe, 8,000 boxes made. One of these 8,000 boxes has a $250,000 card in it. How does this change my original plans? Here were my original plans. I bought 2 boxes, one to rip on the channel, check it out, make a video, show you guys, have some fun. $125 buy-in. Honestly, pretty for for what it is. I honestly think that that's a pretty decent price. It's not a bad price with all of the cards being numbered. And then I had one box that I was just going to keep sealed for a long time. I'm thinking 5-10 years on that one. And my thought process was they only made a relatively few boxes, 7,000 to 8,000, which is very, very low comparatively to normal standards when it comes to these products. I mean, normally they're cranking out 20,000 cases, 17,000 cases plus, just a ton of boxes. Now, man, we have a $250,000 bounty from Uncle Dana White. How does this change things? And I'm really kind of mulling this over in my head, and I've been thinking about it a lot in the past few days, in the past week. And I'm like, okay, so if I open one box, right? If I open one box and we're under the assumption that there's 8,000 boxes, and I'm giving myself a little bit worse odds probably than it really is because it's such a interesting question. If I open one box, I have a 0.0125% chance of hitting the potential 101 debut patch Trump, or 101 patch card from Trump from the 250 event. That is $250,000. Now, if I open both boxes, I have a 0.025% chance, which 1 in 4,000 instead of 1 in 8,000. So man, just to kind of put it in perspective, I was like, okay, this is basically a lotto ticket, right? And you could say, hey, but normally hobby boxes are like lotto tickets. So what's the difference? The difference is whenever we open any boxes, right, we do not have a guarantee that there is going to be a $250,000 card in here. Normally, let's say what released last? Knockout? What's the highest selling knockout card from, well, we'll even go back to like 2024 or 2025. It's probably, I'm going to be generous and say 20 grand, which is probably far above what it actually is, probably double what it actually is. And we don't know that. We don't know that any of those cards are what they're going to go for before that we even open them. And then 2, that is a fraction of the price that this card will sell at when, it gets pulled and gets sold. So it's a very unique situation for us in this space, in that I think this is kind of what people go through in other sports, right? Like in NBA, you have cards that are selling for 100, Wemby's selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. You have LeBron 101s, selling for, I don't know, tons of money. And so it kind of turns it from the upside being, large for us, if you're talking about 10 grand, 15 grand. But in the grand scheme of things, we've just had a massive, basically a 10x boost, right? Which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy. So we're now in like Powerball territory. We're in like lotto territory, right? Scratch off territory. So I looked it up and I was like, what is the scratch off? What are the odds? And this is super guesswork, right? This is all AI. What were the odds for a $250,000 scratch off? It said, it gave me a range, and it said, and I averaged it, and it said 1 in 1.75 million if you buy one ticket, right? 1.75 million. So we are looking at potentially 1 in 8,000, which is honestly not that bad. So man, it's a very interesting time right now. And how does this change my original plans, right? So I think I'm going to open one box immediately for the channel as soon as I get it, which should be out. I'm going to try and get this video done in a day or two. So hopefully I can release this before the actual product drops. I think they said the 30th. It already got pushed back. And may get pushed back again. I'm going to immediately open one box and, you know, see what's in there, have fun, put it up on the channel, let you guys check it out, let everybody see some cards in some detail, talk about some things. And then I think I'm going to wait. Again, what's a good timeline here? A month? Do I wait a month and see if that Trump card gets pulled? Do I wait 2 months and see if it gets pulled? Do you wait 3 months and see if it gets pulled? If it doesn't get pulled though, and it's been a long period of time, I may then come back and crack my box and rip that thing open, because my thought process is like, there's no reason to rush and open this immediately. If it's in your box, it's in your box, right? If it's in there, it's in there. There's no reason to rush and open it. So if you have, I know a lot of people got like 10 boxes. I've had comments saying they got like 5, 6 boxes. I think my play is I'm going to wait a little. I'm going to open one. I'm going to wait a little bit. I already have the other box in my hands. So if it is in my box, no one will get it. It will not get released out. And that's the reality of the situation. Don't get superstitious. Don't. I know some people are weird about that type of stuff like that. We live in a world with laws and physics and rules. Okay, if it's in your box, it's not going to magically jump out and go somewhere else because you didn't open it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But we're in unique territory, man. We're in very, very unique territory, and it's something that I haven't really had to think about this ever, because the upside for these boxes has not even ever been close to this, right? Even with the royalty box that we had, the triple GOAT auto, like that sold after the product hit for like 15 grand, which is a great sales price and is crazy, but that's only 15 times what the box price was. This box was $125. I can't even do the math on the top of my head, but what is that, like 250 times what one box is worth? So like it's pretty incredible what, you know, one price, one bounty will do for a product, and the excitement that it's generated. And it's good marketing from Dana White. And let's not act like this isn't partly a marketing ploy by Dana White. He spends 250 grand on, like, you know, blackjack hands all the time at the casino. This is nothing to this guy. He's just now getting into cards. He also owns some of this company, right? So he knows when he does stuff like this, he's a master with PR and marketing and all that. He knows what he's doing. Fanatics knows what they're doing, and it's smart, and it's definitely generated a ton of buzz. Also, this card in particular. I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a Trump fan. I would never collect a card of his. I don't see the appeal in that at all. No judgment if you do. I'm just talking on my perspective. It's kind of like a Hezbollah thing. Like, why would you? It has nothing to do with the sport or the fighters, right? It's just kind of loosely tied because of the event. But this will generate a lot of outside buzz for the UFC and for UFC cards. I guarantee you we're going to get people outside of the normal UFC card collectors that are interested in this storyline, that potentially buy a box to rip, that, you know, will be wanting to obviously hit a $250,000 card. Now let's talk about the reseller on these boxes, right? So originally they dropped for $125, right? Pretty good sales price, even for what it was before the Trump card, before the $250,000 bounty that Dana White had. Also, is the Dana White patch in this product? We don't know. They were both wearing one of those 250 patches. Is the Dana 101 from that event also going to be in here? Because if it is, that is a card I would consider, you know, keeping for a while, and would be a fun collector's PC item for UFC history. But besides, and how much does that go for, right? But besides the point, so right now boxes are selling for $299 up to $499. I saw a sale for $499. Sips coffee. Very good. That is crazy, man. Okay, so let's think about this. We know that one box, what were the odds that I had written down? 0.0125%. If you rip one box is your odds if there's 8,000 boxes that we're going off of. If you already know that you spent $125, the gamble is much, much less, right? Because you could potentially make up a good size of that by just the cards that are in the box without even getting that lotto ticket card. So I'm kind of on the fence on trying to give people advice on this because it's like such a weird situation and we have no past history to go off of. We have no rules that have been, set. But just from a statistics perspective, it seems like it would not be a smart move to rip a large percentage of these. Now, I guess if you had a ton of money, right, and it's not a big deal, you already bought the boxes. If you rip them all and you were already going to rip them all, definitely just do it anyway, right? You're still going to have the fallback of you could potentially keep some of those cards or sell some of those cards. So it's not like you're going to get nothing from buying it. But $4.99 versus $125 is a massive, massive jump. If you're buying these boxes at $4.99 and you don't hit that card, it is almost a guarantee that you are not going to make your money back. You're going to have crazy upper end boxes in order to make your money back. And again, a little speculation there because we don't know how these cards are going to do once they're opened. We don't know how the reception is going to be from collectors. It could be they could sell for way more than I'm expecting. They could be way nicer than I'm expecting. But just going off of past history with the Noche boxes, going off of past history with the Topps NYC boxes, and I do think that don't get me wrong, I do think that this Freedom 250 is going to sell better than those singles wise, but I still don't know how much juice you're going to get in your box, right? Like they are all limited, but are we going to get like 4 of 99s and then like an of 50, 2 of 50s, or like is a lot of boxes going to contain really low print run cards? Still undetermined, right? With what that's actually going to look like when they get open. But I guess long story short, on the reseller side, if you're buying a box at $400 to try and do a lotto ticket, that doesn't make much sense to me, man. Now maybe down the line, and I guess we'll talk about this. Let's say it's been a year since this product's dropped and the card still hasn't surfaced. And again, we're under the assumption that Topps has said yes, that card is in this product. What are the prices on these boxes? Like, if we know that Dana still wants it and he said 250,000 and it's been a year, and I would have to imagine over half of these boxes have got ripped, so that percentage of you buying a box and then ripping it is going to increase. What are these boxes going to be worth? Like, if they're already at $4.99 and there is a 1 in 8,000 chance of that box and it's selling for $4.99, when it's a 1 in 2,000 chance or a 1 in 1,000, and we don't know, we'll never really be able to know, right, where we're at in that scheme. But it is kind of an interesting scenario where that box price should continue to go up astronomically. Not to mention that the box price without the lotto ticket in it should be going up because the supply of boxes is just so much less, right? It's so much smaller. And that piece of history that you have on your shelf with a sealed box from Freedom 250, that alone is going to be rare because a ton of people are going to be hunting that. So, man, it's an interesting conundrum here because you have kind of the safer play, which is to hold it, and now you know that everyone is going to be ripping their box trying to get that Dana White or trying to get that Trump lotto ticket card and potentially the Dana White lotto ticket card. Or you could hold it sealed, and then you have the other very safe play, which is keep it sealed, let it continue to accrue value over time, because the supply of the boxes is going to be getting ripped so crazy that there are going to be very few of these that are kept sealed, I think, at this point. And I thought it was already going to be very few, but now that we have this card in here, I feel like what's the percentage? 75% of people that have one of these boxes are going to just rip them immediately, trying to find that $250,000 lotto ticket. And fine on them for doing it, because I completely understand when you're talking about life-changing money. Like, you could probably buy a house in many states and many cities for $250,000. So yeah, man, I wanted to talk about this with you guys. It's very, very interesting conversation. And again, this will be out soon. We should be getting these in a few days. I'll have that video out soon. We also have a future video talk now. I also have Panini Contenders PFL box coming in 2026. And that checklist is god awful. And they actually dropped the price on me. Classic Panini. Panini used to do this a lot. And I should make a video talking about the pros and cons of each Topps and Panini, and or maybe just like the things that I hate most about each of the companies. But one of the things I hated most about Panini, and they did this many times, was, let's say they put a box of 23 Prism up for pre-sale. Let's say it was $300 pre-sale. You're like, sweet, got it at $300 pre-sale. Then the release day comes and the box, or sometimes not even the release day. Sometimes it was like a week before the release day. Then you go and you look at like blowout cards, and it's not 300, it's like 265 or something. And you're like, what the hell? I just bought from the direct company and spent like $45 more, or $35 more, whatever it is. And they did that a lot. And the same thing happened right now with this PFL box. I bought it for $125, and now it's going for 80 bucks. 80 bucks. There's 4 autos in it. The checklist is god awful, to be honest, when it comes to the autos, but I thought it would be fun. Check it out. We'll be hunting Victoria or Dakota Decheva, and then also we'll be hunting Usman Nurmagomedov. They have some type of short print in there. It's like a supernova or something. I'll kind of be going over it before we rip the box and telling you guys. Crown Jewels is in it too. Some decent looking cards, but the checklist is really bad. But I figured I actually had a lot of fun opening the Combat Anthology box. I do not think this is going to be as good as the Combat Anthology, just because of all the names that they had in the Combat Anthology. That was actually really interesting with the boxing, with the wrestling, with the MMA fighters. There are some decent names in the Contenders base checklist. Like you've got Rampage, Fedor. You've got some older guys that fought in the UFC that also for some reason are in the PFL as well. Maybe it's because PFL and Bellator are somehow like intermingled now because they bought Bellator. I don't know the specifics of it. But those are some videos that are coming up. Also have a Global Mystery Box video that I'm working on. I got a Mail Day video that I'm working on. I got a Topps Now video that I'm working on. Oh yeah, we got a Stadium Club members only video. Let me talk about that and do a little promo for that. So with each release, and I'm going to be doing this with the Freedom 250 box as well. So I've decided with each release, I'm going to be doing a members only video where I'm talking about things that I normally don't talk about, which are the cards that I'm actually thinking of buying from the product. Now, I kind of always talk about like, oh, this card's cool, this is a fun design, but there are a lot of things that I kind of hold close to my chest, because naturally, if I were to say, hey, I'm going after this card, I want to buy this card, I think there could be people that are also going after that card and wanting to buy that card, and that could lead to a lot of competition, right? So kind of selfishly, I hold some things close to my chest for my benefit so that I don't have to spend more money on these cards. But if you're a Bat Crew member and you're in the Bat Crew, we're a family, we're working together, and I'm actually talking about cards that my specific plays that I'm doing for when these products come out, which sometimes it's cards that I'm not buying and that I'm not interested in, and like just doing my feelings and my opinions. Sometimes it is cards that I am interested in right now when they drop, or depending on pricing, what are they priced at, or I think this card is going to be slept on and undervalued, and I think the value will increase over time, and then obviously going over the reasons of why I think that. But I did a video like that on Stadium Club. If you're interested in that type of information, become a member, join the membership group, the Bat Crew. Also, let me know if that's what kind of stuff that would be interesting, if that does interest you when it comes to specific things with these products, because I want to make that, I want to continue to work on that and kind of make it a little more segmenty, I guess, where I have specific segments that I hit every single product. Right now it's kind of rough, right, because I'm still working on it. It's the first time I've ever did it, but I do think that's a fun idea and a cool idea. So let me know if y'all think that's fun, or if there's any value there for you Bat Crew members. All right, everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed this video about Freedom 250 UFC box and the crazy lotto ticket card that we have now. See you later.